This week has kind of started off on a pretty quiet and okay note, and I think that's fine, all things considered. Mantra on Sunday, Binance having some troubles overnight, which we'll talk about in this video. And what I think people are missing for SHIB is that we're still continuing to follow this trend, which is a great sign. And also, we are actually seeing an accelerating depleted rate of supply on exchanges. And I know people do, in fact, like to hear about this. So if you guys are new or haven't already, make sure you hit that subscribe button down below. Hit that bell again. It's free to do. It'll keep you updated anytime there's new content live here on the channel. So we've returned to kind of a state of stability, we'll call it. SHIB very much loves to hang around this 4012 range. At the time of filming this video right now, it's about 6:36 a.m. We're sitting at about 40119 and kind of bouncing around. And, that's pretty good because what we did have overnight was we actually did have Binance kind of go down. They actually had some of their service. They had a temporary network interruption basically because of an AWS data center, and Amazon Web Services data center. And so they actually suspended withdrawals. It sounds like everything's getting back up and running. And the good news is that the market didn't freak out on this. Okay. That would have been not a fun thing to deal with. So the market has kind of resumed this stability and this resilience that we've been talking about. And in fact, what we're continuing to see for Shiba Inu, I don't know if anybody remembers, but we took a look at last summer, and I still want to point to the fact of how similar this trend is right now. Even our drop, which we had back here around the start of April, very much on trend with what we were seeing at that time. So what we might be in the midst of right now is the beginning of this recovery for Shiba Inu. Now, obviously, this isn't a guarantee or financial advice or anything like that. What's very interesting is when we look across a lot of these trends, we're seeing a very similar thing take place. And that is that assets around the crypto space around the latter part of April are showing that they may in fact go on a rise. All right. Now, obviously, there's no guarantees. I'm not a prophet. I don't know what's going to happen in the future or anything like that, but we are seeing a very consistent theme of accumulation take place for SHIB, for other assets throughout the space. There's another big whale that bought, what was it? Gosh, it was like $200 million worth of BTC this morning. So whales are heavily out and active. What I do want to point to as well is SHIB is also painting a very similar trend to what it did back here in January, February, right before it went on its massive explosion to the upside. I'm not saying that's what's going to happen again, but do want to show you guys as well. And I forgot to bring this up. We're actually, again, still continuing to see this shift in institutional money. Yesterday was actually an accumulation day for BlackRock. Great sign. That is absolutely what we want to see because BlackRock, as of late, has been very heavily dumping. And in fact, I want to hide this here just so you guys can see. They have very heavily sold. And now they've started to shift back to buying. I'm not saying this is the moment where we're going to start seeing days like this once again, because a lot of that early adoption for BlackRock has already taken place, but it's a good sign to see nonetheless. If we look at Ethereum spot ETFs, only a 6 million outflow day, not a very big day there at all. So these things are starting to shift the right direction. It's exactly what we want to see. Now, what we also want to see for something like SHIB is this consistent removal of supply from exchanges. And what we're starting to see is this accelerate. All right. We're getting to the point where we're having about 100 billion Shiba Inu removed from exchanges per day. That's going to make an impact over time. There are times where it's a lot faster, and it tends to be in times where there is more excitement. And again, what I really want to point to is, last time we were at some of these prices, I mean, there was almost twice the total supply available on exchanges. All we just need is excitement. We need a wave of buying. We need, again, this kind of uncertainty to calm down. And we're getting to that point. We really are. A lot of the news is really calming down in a big way. I still think this week is going to be green, especially as we get to the latter part of the week. And as long as we don't have any major surprises, you could start to see a little bit of a leg taken by SHIB and other assets in the space. Now, again, the biggest thing I have to say is just be patient. Don't try to force things. Let things play out. But we're seeing all the signs we need to see. Eventually, the market's going to take off. We're going to sing rah, rah, rah and be excited. And then people are going to be wondering what the heck just happened. SHIB fundamentals have been very good for a long period of time, and they continue to improve. And that is the biggest thing we need. So I appreciate you guys. I hope you enjoyed the video. Let me know your thoughts below, but have a great day. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Take care.